Hi, Abigail. Looking at your properties panel here, looks like 3.5 by 2, that looks right. 2 pages, facing pages unchecked. Let's see, adjust layout. Let's go. So what did I just do? Don't know. Adjust layout. Let's see, 0.125, so 1/8 of an inch bleed on your file. If I push W, I can see that you have that there, the red line. Let's see, we do that here. We've got layer 1, which, okay, so you were using some layers. That's good. Okay, so this is the first page. Okay, so this is the first page. I'm liking this quite a bit. Let's push W. Okay, you are going out to the bleed lines. I think you have it locked, maybe. Yep, that looks pretty good. Just make sure you are going all the way to the bleed line, or even past it a little bit in some cases. I think what you had is fine. I was just checking to make sure there. Design there. Okay, so graphic artist and designer for all your graphic design needs. So this sounds like a slogan here, and then you also have one, need a logo done. I gotcha. So I mean, I would say this page is too busy. This page is bordering on being too busy. Let's see, why can't I get that? Maybe it's not in the right layer. I'm going to unlock. Okay, so yeah, this is in layer 1. If you want to move it into the design layer, you can grab it with the black arrow tool and then move this dot up there, and now you can see it's red, and it's in the red design layer now. So if you need to move anything from layer 1 into the design layer, it's really easy. You just click on it with the black arrow tool and move it up into that layer. So if you end up having issues with the layers, that could be part of the problem. So I would say graphic artist and designer. I would just simplify for all your design needs. Okay, I would definitely simplify that. Let's see, how big is this? 13 points, that's pretty good. I would use the free transform tool, possibly just to size this down a little bit. It's a little bit big. Don't want to get too close to the edges either, because, and then, you know, maybe shrink that box up. I know the shortcut command for it, but, and then probably, you know, try and center that a little bit in the space that you have. I would say that's pretty good for this page. Let's go to this page now. I'm going to push W just to make sure. You're a little short on the bleeds on this side, so you might want to stretch this out a little bit just so that it comes to the bleed, or past it. You can go past the bleed as well. So let's push W again so I can see what you got going here. So this, I would say, doesn't need to be here. If you want to use this font, the Alderly Pro font, somewhere on here, you know, you could potentially, let's see, you could potentially use it here. If I triple click and use the eyedropper tool, which is under the color theme tool, they look very similar, so make sure you get the eyedropper. With that highlighted, I can sample this text, okay, and it will make the same. And I would just say, let's just get rid of this altogether. That's a pretty big text box too, by the way, just FYI. They probably know that this is a phone, this is contact information, so let's not, you know, go too far. We might want to put a space here. Okay. I don't know, actually, it's not super, maybe this is work, and P is personal, maybe, but it's not super apparent, so I would say, you know, maybe work, cell, something like that might make a little more sense. And then I would almost size this up just so you have some contrast in the size. And then I would move this up, and I would highlight this work paragraph, and I would change the leading, which is the space between the lines, just to give that a little bit more breathing room. Maybe even about that would be good, honestly. just so that there's some breathing room between those chunks of information. This is also a really big text box. I would shrink it. I would also shrink this text box. It's quite large. I do know those shortcut command Option, Command C will shrink, or Alt Control C on a Windows, I believe. Alt Control C will tighten boxes around content for you. And I did that on these too. So I think the Facebook logo is a little bigger, so let's just use the free transform tool. I'm going to push Shift on my keyboard the whole time while I do this, and I'm actually going to shrink these down by quite a bit. They are quite a bit too big just for this area. So Shift, I'm going to make them roughly the same size too. I might stack them temporarily just to get them pretty close to being the same size. There is a white background on a couple of these too. I moved it right in the center. So if you move these in the center of, and you get the hand, you'll drag them outside of the bounding box that's there. I just dragged that out. So if I Command Z, I can bring it back. So you can see the edge of the JPEG or PDF or whatever this is, or JPEG or PNG maybe, that it's inside this bounding box. So I got to be careful when I grab things in InDesign too to not get the hand. Okay, so let's see, bring it over here. Let's do this, push Shift. You know, maybe I'm going to do Shift Command C or Alt Control C on a Windows. Try and get these to be basically the same size. I think that needs to be a little bit smaller. Okay, so we can, you know, rearrange these now to be a little bit more, you know. And then we can push Shift on our keyboard. We can align them here in the Properties panel. We can align through the vertical center. If we go to the three dots, we can actually use horizontal spacing and get that, you know, evenly distributed, which it already is, I think. There's some issues with this because it does have the white background, but if we do, let's see, Object, Corner Options, there is a way to change these to rounded. We can preview it, and if you go too rounded, obviously you're not going to do very well with it. But if we do this, you know, it seems like if you push this once or twice, it will fill it in automatically. At 0.07 seems to work pretty well on that one. You can do the same thing here, Object, Corner Options, you know, preview that, rounded. That's actually 0.1667 works really well at just making a circle. So that gets rid of it quickly without having to open it up in Photoshop or anything like that. And then we do want to make sure that these are in CMYK. The AI should be fine. This is RGB, this is CMYK, this is CMYK. So you want to make sure that this is, and the effective PPI looks good too. So that's great. The AI is super high res, so it should be definitely good enough. For some reason, I'm not getting a lot of information on this. I could open it. Oh, wait, no. If I go here, I can see. Yep, that looks good. Both uses on the front and back page are both above 300. So you have to actually click on the actual instances of them. This is just meaning there's two of them. So yeah, your Facebook logo is a PNG file and it's RGB. So we need to fix that. Let's just do a Control-click Edit with Photoshop. That should open it up. Let me see here. So that should open it up in Photoshop. And then if we go to Image Mode and put it in CMYK color, I already did this earlier. But PNG files are always RGB, so we need to do a file, save as, and maybe just save out a JPEG. Just don't need to change the name, just the file extension, the format. Push save. Okay. And then we can go back into InDesign and relink to that new file that we just made today at 12:35 or so. That's my JPEG file. It's in CMYK. So yep, we relinked with the relink button in the links panel and linked that PNG, which is always going to be RGB, to a CMYK JPEG file that we made in Photoshop. So I think if you did this, I think you'd be doing pretty good with this design. I think it actually looks really nice. I think you've hit everything on the, you know, that you needed to hit with it. You have, you know, your social media icons, you have your slogan, contact information, logo. So I think you're good. Definitely check over the project worksheet and just make sure that everything is good, but I think you do have all the requirements met. So good work.